Hello, Virgo. Keep this between us. What I am about to share with you today, what Spirit pressed on me before I even fully settled into this energy, is not something to broadcast, not because it is dark or dangerous or something that should be hidden out of shame, but because what is forming around you right now is in that specific and delicate phase of becoming where the thing exists but has not yet fully solidified into the visible world, and premature speaking has a way of dispersing what the silence was protecting. There are things that need to be held quietly before they can be held openly. What is moving in your life right now is one of them. And Spirit is asking you today, before anything else, before the explanation, to simply hold this close without announcing it, without seeking the external validation that would feel reassuring, but might, at this particular stage, cost you something you cannot yet afford to lose. Take what is yours today. What resonates, let it stay without sharing it everywhere. What does not, release it quietly. But for those of you who felt something shift when I said keep this between us, who felt the specific alert quality of someone who has been waiting for exactly this kind of message at exactly this kind of moment, lean in, because what is coming through today is significant and it has your name on it. Soft sigh. Something is forming in the invisible architecture of your life, in the place where circumstances and readiness and timing converge before they surface into the world. You can see and touch and measure something, is assembling itself with a precision and a patience that the visible surface of your current situation has given you no reason to anticipate. No obvious signal, no clear indicator that the ground beneath you is different from what it appeared yesterday. But it is different. Spirit is bringing that through today with an insistence that I trust completely. The ground has shifted beneath the surface. In the invisible layer where the most significant changes always begin, where they do their necessary work before they are ready to announce themselves in the form of something you can point to and say there, that is when everything changed. You are in the before of that moment right now. The before, which is the most specific and least glamorous part of any significant change, looks like nothing from the outside. Looks like the same ordinary days running in the same ordinary sequence. Looks to anyone observing your life from the outside like nothing of consequence is happening. And that appearance, the ordinary surface of an extraordinary subsurface, is precisely why the silence matters. Because the people around you cannot yet see what Spirit is showing me today, cannot see the assembly happening beneath the visible, cannot see the specific convergence of factors of your own readiness and the external circumstances that readiness has been calling towards you, that is producing something significant just below the threshold of what the ordinary eye can detect. And if you speak about it too soon, if you invite the skepticism and the well meaning caution and the uncomprehending doubt of people who are looking at the surface and seeing nothing, you risk letting their seeing become your seeing. You risk the invisible being diminished by contact with eyes that are not yet equipped to recognize it. Hold it quietly. That is the instruction. Not forever, just for now, just for the period of the forming. Until what is assembling in the invisible world has broken fully through into the visible one and can speak for itself. Until the evidence is present and undeniable and no longer requires your defending or explaining or maintaining against the friction of other people's limited views of what is possible for you. Now, let me speak about the opportunity because it is the center of what Spirit is bringing through today, and it deserves honest, specific attention. What is approaching in your life carries a quality that I want to describe as carefully as I can because I think the description matters for how you receive it and how you position yourself in relation to it. It is not the loud kind of opportunity, not the kind that arrives with obvious fanfare, that announces itself clearly, that presents itself in a form that leaves no ambiguity about whether to reach for it or not. It is the other kind. The quieter, more easily missed, requires a quality of attention that most people are not paying kind. The kind that arrives sideways through the conversation that seems incidental until it reveals itself as significant, through the encounter that appears ordinary until the specific quality of what it opens becomes clear, through the moment that would be easy to let pass, that would be filed under coincidence or unremarkable detail by someone moving through their days without the particular quality of presence that allows the subtle to be recognized as significant. Soft sigh. You have that quality of presence, or you are being asked to develop it more fully right now. To slow down, not in the passive waiting sense, but in the awake, I am paying full attention to everything that is moving around me sense. To be the person in the room who notices what others walk past, who registers what others dismiss, who allows the subtle to land fully rather than bouncing off the surface of a mind that is moving too quickly to catch what is actually being offered. Spirit is asking you to slow down and pay attention because what is coming, what is already in the approach, already moving through the invisible channels toward the moment of its surfacing, will require that attention to be recognized for what it is. And what it is, what it represents in the full context of everything you have been building and enduring and becoming, is something that you have earned the right to receive. Let me speak about the person dimension of this because Spirit is bringing it through alongside the opportunity, and the two are not separable in the energy of today's reading. There is someone connected to what is forming, connected in a way that may not yet be fully clear, may be operating in the background of the situation rather than at its obvious center, but whose connection to what is approaching is real and significant and part of the specific shape that the opportunity will take when it becomes visible. This person may reach out, may initiate something, may appear or reappear for some of you at exactly the moment that feels, in retrospect, like the precise hinge between what was and what is about to be. Not by design. These things rarely work by design in the planned, orchestrated sense. By the specific and sometimes mysterious way that the right people tend to surface at the right moments, when the invisible world has been doing its assembly work and the pieces are finally in their correct positions. When this person appears in whatever form the appearance takes, through whatever channel they find their way to, you do not dismiss it as coincidence. Do not let the ordinariness of the surface of the contact obscure the significance of its timing. Because the timing is where the real information lives. And the timing of this particular contact may be the most specific and significant piece of evidence that what Spirit has been bringing through today is real. Now, I want to speak about what you have to win, because the title of this reading carries that phrase, everything to win, and I want to honor it with the honest, grounded specificity it deserves, rather than letting it float above the practical as an exciting but unanchored promise. What you have to win is not a prize in the external, handed to you from outside sense. What you have to win, what is genuinely, fully, completely available to you in this particular window of time and circumstance, is the version of your life that has been assembling itself from the work you have been doing. The version that reflects in its practical and daily reality who you have become through everything the difficult seasons asked of you. The version where the gap between your internal truth and your external circumstances finally meaningfully closes. That version, the one that fits, the one that does not require the compression or the managed expectations or the subtle daily adjustment of who you are to fit what is available. The one where the opportunity, the person, the circumstances, and the internal readiness all occupy the same moment simultaneously and produce something that feels, and I want to use this word carefully, like arrival, not luck, not fortune distributed randomly. Arrival, the specific, earned, been building toward this for a long time quality of a life, finally reflecting the person living it. Everything to win means this: not a single prize, the full, integrated, nothing held back version of what your life is capable of containing coming into view at a moment when you are finally, structurally, in the foundation, ready to hold it. When the internal architecture has been built sufficiently by everything you survived to be capable of holding something significant without it collapsing the structure. Soft sigh. That readiness, the specific and hard-won readiness that the difficult seasons built without your knowing what they were building it for, is what this moment is responding to. What the assembly in the invisible world has been waiting for. What the opportunity, when it surfaces, will be sizing itself against and finding in you exactly the receptive ground it needs to land and stay rather than pass through. Stay quiet about this. Protect it not out of secrecy or distrust, but out of the specific and practical wisdom of someone who understands that certain things need the privacy of their forming before they can survive the light of wider exposure. A seed does not need an audience to grow. It needs soil and darkness and the unhurried time of its own development. What is forming in your life right now is in the soil. Give it the darkness. Give it the time. And pay attention. That is the most practical and most important instruction of everything that has come through today. Pay the specific quality of attention that catches what is subtle, that notices what is easy to walk past, that recognizes significance in the moment it appears rather than 3 days later when the moment has already moved through. Because the window that spirit is pointing toward the period of convergence that is approaching in the invisible world and is very close to breaking through into the visible one is real. And real windows, unlike hypothetical ones, have dimensions. They are open for a period, and then the circumstances that held them open shift. And what was available in the opening becomes less directly available, not gone, but differently arranged, requiring more effort to access than it would have required in the window. Be in the window, fully, with your eyes open and your attention steady and your hands unclenched open enough to receive what is forming without trying to control the form it takes. Because what is coming may not look exactly like what you have been imagining. The opportunity may be dressed in ordinary clothing. The person may arrive through an unexpected door. The moment may feel, in its first seconds, like simply another moment until something in you that has been paying attention recognizes it for what it actually is. Trust that recognition. When it comes, without the second guessing, without the immediately reaching for reasons it cannot be real. With the specific and earned confidence of someone who has done enough internal work to trust their own perception, who has been refined by the difficult seasons into someone whose knowing, when it arrives, is reliable. You have everything to win, not as a guarantee, as a genuine and available and closer than it looks possibility for someone who is standing at exactly the right convergence point of readiness and timing and opportunity, who has done the invisible work, who has survived what needed to be survived, who has arrived quietly without announcement in the unglamorous daily way of someone who simply kept going at the place where what is forming in the invisible world is finally proportionate to the person waiting to receive it. Keep it close, stay awake, and trust that what is assembling itself right now in the silence, in the invisible, in the place just below the surface of everything that appears ordinary is something extraordinary, something real, something yours. If this reading found you at the right moment today, if something here named what is forming before it has fully arrived and gave you the quiet, grounded confidence to hold it carefully, stay close, subscribe, and come back. Because what is breaking through the surface in your life right now is a story worth witnessing all the way through. And the next reading will be there for every step of the arriving. Take care. Bye.